We are back at the shop today. I do want to be wrenching a little further more on my 240SX. I am still stuck on these brake lights. Now, I thought I had everything fixed and ready to go. My brake lights were working as they should. They're at the end of the video, so I did think everything was okay. The day after I posted that video to YouTube, I went to go leave for work the next morning, and when I opened up my door, there were no lights in the interior of the vehicle. And when I did try to turn the key in the ignition to start the vehicle, nothing happened. So I grabbed some jumper cables from the trunk of the car and tried to jump off my battery. Upon doing that, I did blow a fuse for my alternator. I asked AI why jumping off a battery would blow a fuse for the alternator, and it said that if you have a very dead battery and you use a very strong donor battery, which exactly explained my situation going on, it could cause some issues with blowing other things. So I had to replace this alternator fuse, which of course none of my nearby auto parts stores had in stock. So I had to order that, wait a week, pop it back in, put a new battery in. This battery actually fits. My battery from last time was a little bit too small for this tray, so I'm very glad I actually have a battery that fits now. Hopefully we won't have any further damage with this radiator hose right here. And as you can see, if I do hook up this negative cable up to the battery, the brake lights do come on. And unfortunately, those brake lights being stuck on is what killed my first battery. So I have been leaving it with the battery turbo left off, but I do want to fix these brake lights to have them not stuck on. Here's what doesn't make sense to me is that here's my brake pedal switch, and there is a little, oh, it's gonna be really hard to see with the light. All right, so here's my brake pedal switch right here. And what's not making sense to me is that it is clearly making contact with the brake pedal. All right, so now what I'm going to do is take this switch all the way out again. See, she was definitely in there quite a ways, so there was no way it wasn't touching the brake pedal. Here we have the switch here, and what I'm going to do is plug it back in, and then I'm going to plug up the battery, and I'm going to play with the switch and verify to see if our switch went bad again on us somehow. Now when hooking up the battery, we got our blue lights are on, and our brake lights are also on, which that is normal because the switch is removed from the vehicle. Upon pressing the switch in, so it doesn't look like our switch has gone bad. It looks like we may have misadjusted it, putting it into the brake pedal. So I just wanted to show for reference, I do have the battery hooked up right now, and we can see that the brake lights are off, which is a very good thing. Opening up the door, we do have lights in here, and then stepping on the brake pedal, we have brake lights. So as much as I want to sit here and say everything is fixed, what keeps happening to me is I will just leave the car as is. A couple days later, brake lights will be stuck on again. So I don't know if I'm not tightening the adjustment screw enough or if something bigger is happening here. For now, I'm gonna go ahead and disconnect the battery, come back in a couple days and reconnect the battery and see if the brake lights are magically stuck on again. I also removed the factory OEM spoiler from the rear of the vehicle, and it did have a bunch of surface rust that I will have to address, but it's okay because rather sooner than later and let that rust through and trunk all leaking and whatnot. If I lift this guy up, there's a really bad spot up in here. She'll need some work. There's also these clips that are pretty annoying, but they're also pretty sizable too. So I'm going to have to patch this up, get some sheet metal, weld it in, make it look good. I've never done body work like that, so it's something I will definitely have to learn. It would be much easier to find a replacement rear hatch lid, but we do have original dealer stickers nearby here in Tennessee, which is so cool. The fact that this thing has been in Tennessee its whole life, I want to hold on to that. So this sticker right here is going to be causing us so much work, but I'm keeping you. Here is the foam spoiler that Nissan decided to use from factory. Foam absorbs water, which causes a all of this rust. I mean, this used to be metal at some point, and now it's just flaking away, and that's where each of these clips were. So that's where the rust has continued onto the body of the car. I'm gonna do some rust repair on this thing. Good thing it's just like surface rust on the, not on the body itself, but just on like the hatch. I did get super lucky. The only surface rust that I do think I have on the body itself is this little bit back here from some damage, quarter panel damage, but it's not too bad. Could always be worse. My actual frame is amazing, which is rare to see on these S chassis, especially the S13s. I also have some of these cleaning wipes. I'm gonna go ahead and try to just clean both the surface and probably the inside of my trunk area. It is super dirty, and I'm just kind of a attention to detail kind of guy. And clean all this up, get her all nice and detailed. Hatch is looking pretty good. Way cleaner than it was, for sure. I did notice I do have some rust up here in my hatch lid latches. Oh, the joys. Joys of owning these S13s, man. It doesn't look too bad, just kind of some surface stuff. At least something to address at some point. I'm not gonna lie, these wipes actually did a very good job for cleaning the actual surface of the trunk. Obviously, it's not gonna get rid of the rust and everything. Much better than it was before. Not bad, Armor All. I just used up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 wipes, and my car is looking much better. There's also this like adhesive stuff that had the spoiler on. There's like 4 different spots. I'll probably have to get some Goo Gone and scrape those up to get those completely out. That's probably gonna wrap up everything that I'm going to do for her today. I'm gonna go ahead and disconnect this battery in case my brake lights do magically turn on again. But hopefully she's fixed and good to go. If you guys have ran into the situation before where you had to replace your brake switch and now your brake lights are acting super funky, please leave me some comments down below. I am curious if I am the only one struggling with this situation. I'm gonna go ahead and disconnect this battery. I do wanna thank you guys again for watching this video. I know it's not the most entertaining thing in the world. I just do want to see this thing driving. Ooh, it looks like my coolant's low. I wonder if I'm leaking anywhere. It's a video for another day. I do hope you guys have a great rest of your day. And as always, thank you so much for watching my video. If by any chance you are watching and you are around the Knoxville area, I do need some help here in the near future with some body work on this vehicle. Not only am I wanting this done correctly to make my car as beautiful as it can be, I also do want to learn a thing or two on the way. So if you are interested in teaching me how to do some body work, please feel free to reach out and we can make something happen. I'm so fucking frustrated with dealing with the same fucking thing over and over again.